I'm not sure really like his band would be playing and then they just do like the drum roll to sort of like finish it, and then they just like keep going and then like Rick's just there.
Yeah, man, sounds good. We'll just if we go short, I'll just fucking loop the intro music like 10 times around. People are like, what's happening here? I'm alright with it though. Yeah. Anyway, welcome everyone. It is Sunday the 13th of November 2016. And welcome to the Overcast Gamer Show. Today is just a special show with just me and Mike.
Yeah, hey, how you going?
Yeah, good, bro. Yeah, just the usual, really, cruising along. Yeah. How about yourself?
Oh, just life's a bit too much at the moment. I mean, not in a bad way, but lots of stress with work and stuff.
I think everyone's in a similar boat. I think everyone is in a state of fucking shock given just the world at the moment.
Yeah, that as well. It's been stressful.
Yeah, absolutely. But the reason that it's just myself and Mike today is that Balthazar is still off in Japan frolicking about. I think he's maybe back in the next few days actually, which or maybe no, I don't know. In the next week. We'll call it that.
Sometime.
And Abe is off frolicking around in Brisbane?
Brisbane,
for a concert of some type, being a big music fan. So you guys are stuck with us for a week. You'll
Sorry.
This could be a disaster. It could be very short. But we've got a bit of stuff to talk about this week. Including, I guess, what we've been playing as we do usually. A few bits and bobs with the news. I've lined up a wee game for Mike to play, or for us to play, called Japan or Not,
that's interesting.
which will be interesting. And I'm going to finish off the podcast with my second of our top 10 games.
Cool.
We're doing that every podcast to finish off, so I might as well throw mine in there. But shit, man, the world, is it coming to an end?
We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. The thing, because obviously, unless you've been living under a rock, I'm kind of referring to Donald Trump and the ridiculous there. And I don't want to get into politics too much because we're not here to talk about politics. But my big question is I wonder what a Trump presidency is going to mean for video games. I'm kind of thinking about this morning. Are we going to have a wave of video games that are based on hate speech and
Well, I'm not sure if you've seen any of them, but I'm pretty sure there are already some. There's one I remember a few games sort of based around the presidential race, at least. And
oh, really?
Yeah. So there was one. What was it called? Might have been called Mr. President or something. It was like a first-person shooter where you play as it's got all it's got Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump in it.
Yeah.
And a couple of other sort of famous US presidents as well. So you're wandering around. I think it was on a luxury cruise ship. Just got to find a weapon and kill, assassinate one of the other candidates or something. Ridiculous.
Oh, so you play as one of the presidents and you have to go. Oh, brilliant.
I don't think. Oh, I vaguely remember seeing another one where you're a bodyguard protecting Trump and you got to dive and get in front of bullets.
Brilliant.
So there could be
it could be so many cool. I'm thinking even mobile games. It'd be so easy to slap together a quick little mobile game where it's you're Trump and you've got to see how long you can last in the White House kind of thing. Fending off lawsuits and dodging assassinations. It could be great. I kind of want to as well. I wonder if it's going to affect sort of censorship of games and things like that, or whether, because obviously his whole campaign was framed up around being kind of, yeah, I guess conservative, but conservative in a real like outspoken way. Like, are they going to dive in and you know, just put big restrictions on games and things that they have in the States?
Sure.
Or something?
Not even sure.
I doubt it.
Well,
but,
yeah, I don't even think it would be something he has on his radar because apparently he doesn't even use like a proper laptop or computer. He's got his phone for Twitter, but
he's a baby man, isn't he?
Yeah,
he's an absolute baby man. Yeah.
He's not really up to date with like current technologies.
Did you hear that they took his Twitter off him?
Yeah.
At like the end of the campaign, they were like, "No, last 24 hours, you don't get Twitter."
Yeah.
So I'm sorry. It's great.
Yeah.
I think he's only ever put his name on it because I did a quick Google search this morning. He's had one game that was a Donald Trump game, and it was like a real estate tycoon kind of sim game.
Yeah.
And it looked awful.
Yeah.
It looked terrible.
I think there are two versions of that. So there was one that was in, I think it vaguely remember it was like in the 90s or something, and it basically, I think there were elements to it, like if it, you know, carried over into real life, then, you know, it's like basically fraud and racketeering and stuff is what you do in the game, what you need to do in the game to stay ahead. But then, like when The Apprentice came out, he just slapped like "you're fired" onto the cover, and then
rebranded it.
Yeah, rebranded it.
Oh my god!
And so, you know, all the money's got his face on it and stuff like that.
Oh man, it's just American capitalism and greed at its worst. It's pretty incredible stuff, but I guess we'll find out as things pan out. There's so many interesting things to talk about with it, but
sort of up in the air at the moment.
Yeah, but anyway, this is a gaming podcast. What have you been playing, man? What's been going on?
I think last time I was still playing Red Dead Redemption, wasn't it? Yeah, so I managed to finish that off.
Nice. Yep.
I did start the Undead Nightmare.
Oh yeah.
But it sort of had a bit of a different tone to it.
It does, absolutely, yeah. I guess once you've played through, it's the kind of thing where
I think if I gave it a break and came back to it, maybe.
Absolutely, yeah. It's like it was DLC, right? So everyone kind of naturally had that break built into the kind of release cycle.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, so you finished that up? Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant game, eh? I already knew how it ended. It had been spoiled for me at some point.
Lame. Yeah.
But it was still really cool playing through that, and then sort of even a bit past what I knew happened. So like at the end, we can
fucking
chat
it. Spoiler chat, guys. We're about to give away the ending of Red Dead.
Yeah. So you know, John gets killed. I completely fucked that up as well because I knew that, you know, you come out of the barn and there's all the army dudes and the military guys there and whatnot, shoot him up, and I knew that you're supposed to go into like the Deadeye mode to shoot a bunch of them down.
Yeah.
So I was there waiting for it, and I was like already clicking the Deadeye button on the right stick. Yeah. But I didn't realize it went into it automatically. So I went into Deadeye, and then
you went straight out of it.
Straight out of it. And I was like, no, and I was just like frantically like. Didn't manage to kill any of them. It was a bit embarrassing.
Didn't take down a single guy.
Like,
this legend of the West, and he can't even take out a couple fucking.
After taking out like a whole goddamn army. So I was like, oh, it doesn't really change things anyway. So I just kept playing, but I don't think you get a trophy or anything for taking down X number of them. Imagine if you could. Yeah. Like if you were good enough to get like a headshot on every single one of them.
Yeah. Before they would manage to get enough bullets, and it's a pretty cool. Like I feel like the way they build up. Like I don't remember the details really, but the way that they kind of build up to that, and John just kind of accepts it. He's like, "Well, this is happening."
Like he's got his family out of there safe, and he's just like they're just there waiting for him, and it's just like has to be done. Yeah, it's a pretty amazing moment.
It is.
Yeah, then sort of coming back to it, and you're playing as his son. Years later, and then he's tracking down. It's not like a main presented as main quest, but you track down one of the dudes that basically betrayed him. I can't remember his name.
See, I kind of read it as like almost that last part being the redemption, because as the son, don't you track down one of the guys and you kill one of the guys? It's kind of like. It was almost like in the whole telling of the game as John Marsden, that whole time was just setting the scene for you then to have this like, I don't know, maybe an hour or so at the end of the game where you're his son and you go and find the guy and you get your redemption sort of thing. It it's pretty cool. It's definitely not something I saw coming when I first played through it. Yeah, getting that good chunk of time at the end as a son.
Yeah, no, really good game. And even being like, I'm not sure what year it came out. Like,
it was 2011.
Oh, that late.
Maybe 2010, somewhere around there.
PlayStation 3 game anyway. Like, looks amazing.
It does,
Even points where like I didn't even realize that you could actually go up a mountain. There's like a bit of a, you go up and there's like snow, and you can look down and like see most of the whole map, and it just looks amazing.
It's impressive. I guess it's Rockstar like have always been like on that bleeding edge of tech. And that was one of the big things about Red Dead, and like the skies. Like the sky always blew me away in that game. Like when we're coming down, kind of towards the beginning of the game, where you that first time you go with Bonnie from McFarlane Ranch down the hill to Armadillo, and just going down there and being like, hang on a fucking second, look at this. Like you come down off that big cliff and you come down the side of it, and it's just like, man, it's just unbelievable. Like the game is just beautiful.
Cool. So I finished that off, and I was looking for another game to play, and remembered I got a game called SOMA a while back. So,
SOMA?
Yeah. Did you play through that one?
I never played through SOMA, but Abe was a big fan, and he's actually done a review on the site. There's a SOMA review.
Oh, true. I should give that a read, actually.
Yeah, check it out.
Yeah, I forgot that was there. Amazing game. Like, just, I'm not sure if you have many games that just, like, mess with your head. They just, like, so, like, after I finished it, I was just, like, lying in bed for, like, an hour, just being like, fuck. This, like, just, oh, man, and what an incredible experience, there's probably not too many games that you can say have, like, a really major theme, and, like, sort of, like, the whole thing sort of explores this theme, like, quite thoroughly and in a really, like, well done way. But this one, it's sort of all about, like, consciousness and, like, the nature of consciousness, and
and it's kind of a what's the kind of general, like, if no one had ever heard of SOMA before, what's kind of the general, like, mechanic of it? Is it like a shooter, or is it
no? So it's a horror game. So first person, you play a guy called Simon. So he sort of gets taken out of his normal everyday modern life, and he finds himself in an underwater facility, and everyone's gone, and things are a bit, like, dark and creepy and run down. And one of the first things you sort of realize is that there are robots there that are supposed to be sort of like helper robots to, like, maintain the facility and do heavy lifting and stuff underwater. But some of these robots have started thinking that they're human.
Oh yeah, okay.
And it's a sort of really creepy thing.
Oh man, anytime a robot thinks that it's conscious, I'm like, nah, fuck that.
But
like, that's some scary stuff.
But it's got some really cool moments. So you sort of, like, as you're walking through the facility, you're sort of slowly learning about the people who work there, and like, just sort of the events that happen to sort of lead up to, like, you turning up there as well. Because it's kind of story where, like, you got all these questions about what's going on, and, like, you find the answer, and then that just sort of raises more questions.
Like watching Lost?
Except it probably makes a bit more sense. Like,
except in the end, you actually get
probably
some answers.
Probably a bit more grounded in reality, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. That's just good storytelling a lot of the time, isn't it? Like,
really good storytelling. There are parts at the start where you've got to, in order to progress, so you come across, like, there's a robot, like, on the floor, and this one in particular, it's like you can hear it breathing. It sounds like it's breathing. So it's got this, and some of them you can, like, even talk to. So there's one robot that's on the floor as well, and you just start talking to me. He's like, "Oh, help me! I fell over," and it's like, "Go get, like, a doctor or something." And he's like Simon's like, "A doctor? Do you mean a mechanic? Like, you're a robot?"
Yeah. He's like, are they like humanoid robots? They look like
no.
Just
and he just has this big argument about him, like, being like, you're a robot, and he's like, dude, you're fucking crazy. I'm not. But this other one that's breathing on the floor, like you try to talk to it and it doesn't say anything, but you got to use a terminal next to it, and it's like plugged into it, drawing power from it.
Oh,
and
yeah.
so you got to unplug it so that you can use the terminal and actually progress. And as soon as you unplug it, you just hear this like female voice going like, "No, I was happy," and then it sort of just like shuts down, and you're just like, "Oh my god, like, what have I just done?"
Totally.
Yeah, just the sort of things that like that it does, like that you need to do, just basic things, and like you need to go through this door, but you have to do something quite terrible to progress.
Yeah. And yeah, well, I can see how that would totally make you start asking questions like, fuck, like, sure, robots with
like
even consciousness or even kind of like simulated sentience are still going to pull on those heartstrings as a human. Like, it's just kind of the nature of being a human, right? Like,
it really did. It had like heaps of good moments like that. Even there's one point, like, you might remember, the old trope where it's just like, you gotta do an action which has some really terrifying consequences, but you don't really fully comprehend it because you don't really want to think about it.
Yeah.
Like there's a point in the game where that happens. Like you have to do this thing, like put together this thing in order to progress, and it's got some like it's horrible what you need to do.
Yeah.
And you don't really realize like until immediately after, and you're just like, oh shit! What have I just done?
Yeah.
It's just incredible.
It's funny because like there's a lot of games that sort of try and pose those kind of moral decisions on you, and you've got to progress. You have to choose one way or the other, and there's no right or wrong answer kind of thing. Yeah. But this sort of sounds like that on an extra level where it throws that guilt at you after you've done it. It sounds really
definitely. Even that one I was talking about, like immediately after you get presented a choice, it's not really. It's like either you can either leave this or you can do an action and then leave it. You got to leave either way. But either way, it's just like both options are like terrifying and horrible.
Yeah,
and you're just like,
how does the horror element come into it? Like, because is it like first person?
Yeah.
In this fucking scary ass place, like is it that kind of stuff that is the is it that suspense that it builds? Or?
Yeah, it's got so it does have like monsters in it that you got to sort of hide from.
Oh yeah.
And they're pretty scary as well because again some of them are like basically if you imagine the robots thinking they're people and they're sort of like mutated robots in a way, and pretty loud and scary and just sort of running at you, and they're spouting all this like craziness as well. You just don't really understand.
Yeah, just really unsettling kind of stuff.
Because it's basically like a failed human robot, or a robot that thinks it's human and just gone mad.
Yeah.
And so some of that's pretty terrifying, but then there's the existential terror as well. And then just some sort of there's another sort of part of it where towards the end where you start getting like sort of feels like you're getting stalked by something, and it keeps like flashing up and like talking to you. Yeah. And helping you, but helping you in a way that like doesn't feel like is helpful. Like, oh man, you're just like, this wasn't supposed to happen. Like, I'm not supposed to like it. What it does is it gives you like an access code to get into a building when you had no other way to get in there, and you're just like, this doesn't feel good.
You feel like you're being led into a trap kind of thing?
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. It sounds really good. Like, it sounds like they've done an awesome job at manipulating the way people... Yeah.
They've absolutely nailed it, hey?
I like to say that I would be like, oh yeah, I'm going to go out and get this game and play it, but I just am so bad with scary games.
Yeah.
Like, the scary media in general, like, nah, not even having it like a scary movie where it's really just kind of one-dimensional. It's just a picture on a screen, and if it's a game where I'm like fucking controlling the guy, fuck that.
I definitely recommend it. But yeah, if you're not into horror, then I'd still recommend it.
Well, that's the thing. It sounds like a good game,
Yeah.
and I'm thinking like it sort of sounds a bit on the lines of like Alien Isolation. As
Yeah,
well.
yeah, definitely.
Like,
Like
and what
with
you
that first person and exploring this like, place.
But both sound too scary for me. Like, it just doesn't strike me as a good time. Just being scared, like there's a reason that being scared is like a human reaction and an emotion where we should be kind of avoiding it, you know. But and it's cool. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Yeah, that I think I finished that in about a week. It was a decent sized sort of campaign. And then the ending as well, just sort of the ending's really good, and it's like a happy and a really sad ending at the same time. It's very hard to explain. Yeah, but without just need to sort of play it. But then that's when you just like fuck, you sort of have to like take in the whole game and sort of think about it.
Yeah, take a moment to sit back and yeah, absolutely. Oh, cool, sounds good. Maybe I will play it. Maybe.
Yeah, or even watch a playthrough or something.
Yeah, so, totally.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then I was playing a game called Odin Sphere.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, heard of that one?
No. I think I'm gonna. Was this on PlayStation?
Yeah, on PlayStation. I think it's like a remade game from like a PlayStation 2 game.
Oh yeah.
But it's like it's based on can you even say that? Norse mythology.
I was about to try and say it, and then I realised I was going to say North. So
yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
So you plays. So there's like 5 main characters, and they it's sort of like a side-scrolling. It's an RPG, side-scrolling. It kind of reminds me the side-scrolling bits like what's it called, Metal Slug.
Oh yeah.
So it's got like a pretty cool art style. I think it's a like looks all like sort of hand painted models and stuff.
Cool.
Like that. It looks really cool. And you sort of so you got 5 characters, and they've each got like separate stories that sort of go across the like roughly the same period. So you play through one character's story, and then you reach the end, and then you go to the second character, and it's sort of like an interwoven story. Yeah. And you sort of learn more about what's going on. I still don't fully understand it, but like it's basically I think it's a little bit. It is a little bit confusing. But I think play as like a Valkyrie, and there's a fairy character, and there's a sort of a knight character, and a rabbit character. It's a bit weird. And they're sort of trying to. It's sort of leading up to like Ragnarok, so like the end of the world. Yeah. And I'm not sure if they realise it or are trying to stop it, but you can see in the story there's like a chunk at the end because you can see all the chapters and like where they come in the timeline. Oh yeah, cool. It's pretty cool. But it's pretty enjoyable. Still can't really say too much about it. Even though I'm about halfway through, sort of, and I'm
one of those games. Yeah, where you sort of like get halfway through and go, hang on, this has got to make sense at some point. When is it going to click for me?
There's a bunch of different things happening, and it is fun though. Like sort of going around you get to go to a dungeon, you get some story, go through it to the end, you fight a boss, get some more story, kind of thing. And the fights are pretty cool as well. You get some pretty intense ones, but
all in a side-scrolling kind of 2D type. Setup.
But the way they've done the maps is quite interesting. So like you have like battle zones, which are sort of done in like a circle on the map, and so you sort of can run to either side infinitely, and you just sort of go on a loop. And then it's sort of like at different points you can exit and go to like another sort of side-scrolling bit. I don't know, it's hard to explain.
Yeah, sounds interesting. Okay. And it's just on the PlayStation Store.
I think it's. I'm not sure if you can get it in a physical copy, but
unless you like really hunted around, or maybe something on Trade Me. Yeah. Oh, cool. That's good. What have I been playing? Not a whole lot, to be honest. I remember last time we talked about Battlefield 1. Still been playing a bit of that.
You're still playing through the main campaign?
I finished all of those. And it turns out actually when we spoke about it last week, I was really close to actually finishing the last one anyway. I just hadn't done maybe the last kind of 20 minutes. And those are all, I mean, we talked about them at length last week, and they're all pretty cool. Oddly enough, like what I have noticed with that is you go into the page that you use to kind of select which one you want to play through, and it says there's 6 of them, but when you go into the page, there's only 5 of them to see. So I wonder if maybe they've got like another one that's coming as DLC or something like that. Or maybe I've just missed it and I'm a pleb, which is entirely likely.
Yeah. It's not like, from what you're saying, like the intro bit where you're playing as different soldiers.
Oh, maybe. But then it's in terms, and when you look at the page that sort of shows what's completed, I've done everything that I can see that's there, and it still says 5 out of 6. Yeah. So I don't know, man. It's a bit weird, but they're all excellent, and the multiplayer's still really fun. It's getting a little bit frustrating and infuriating. Like I'm starting to kind of see the cracks and where the game falls down a little bit. Like, obviously the whole, you've got Call of Duty, and that game is all about like the single player, and you play deathmatch, and it's all about how many people you can kill. Like it's straightforward. Whereas Battlefront is a little more based around squads and working together and obtaining objectives and all that kind of thing. And I guess my biggest frustrations with the game, like I'm still really enjoying it, but my frustrations are things like when you might take an objective and then everyone just fucks off and no one stays to like to defend it and things like that. And so then you end up losing the game because like no one's stopped to just take the time. Like 2 or 3 people could have stayed there while everyone else went to take the next objective. But just things like that. Like there's a squad leader for every squad in a team, and as part of that, one of the jobs as a squad leader is to kind of give orders. So you can point towards an objective, press R1 or whatever it is, or right bumper if you're on Xbox, I would assume, and it will assign that objective as like your squad orders. Yeah. And so if your whole squad goes and takes that, you get a bunch of extra points because you've followed orders, and then you can obviously like get a whole shitload more points per round. As long as your squad leader is saying, okay, cool, here's our next objective, and you all go.
That's sort of a good way to incentivize people.
Exactly,
so I can't imagine people.
But the shitty thing about it is that there are very few squad leaders who actually know what they're doing, and so when you get to a point where you've played enough of the game that you want to like have a really good, well-functioning squad, and your squad leader isn't like actually giving orders properly, it's really frustrating. It's like, well, we're just getting our asses handed to us because we're all over the map. No one's working together, things like that. So, I don't know what it is. I think they might be implementing a thing where if a squad leader is not giving orders, they can be like ousted. So the rest of the squad can be like, nah, you're shit. And someone else gets assigned a squad leader. Yeah. So
is it always like random who gets the squad leader?
No, I think it's like a first in, first served kind of basis. So when a map is being set up, it gives you a list of the squads, and there's like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and they have like the classic like apples, butter, I think it might be Charlie, and so there are this other old school phonetic alphabet from World War One or whatever it is.
Interesting.
But the first person to go in and start each squad, I think, becomes the squad leader. Yeah. And they get a little star next to the name, and I can kind of understand that like it might be easy for you to not even notice that you are the squad leader, but there's kind of things where you can like ask for orders and things. So like if you're not the squad leader, you can, you hold down a button and it opens up like a series of options for things that you can kind of shout out to your squad. And one of them is like, we need some orders, like give us some orders. And you can, like some people, you can just spam that and it's like they don't even see it, then like have it turned off or something. But I mean, the game itself, like, I'm just starting to see the things that aren't like completely perfect. But the game is really cool. It's still really fun. And the maps are really fun. There's only a couple maps that aren't like particularly well balanced, where one in particular called Suez, or I don't even know how to say it, Suez or something. It's one of like the desert maps. Suez. Yeah, totally. That's one. Yeah.
I'm not sure that's how you say it.
Yeah, sure. Anyway, it's a little town, basically. It's like on the edge of the canal, I guess, because there is a river that kind of runs along it. And it's basically a town, and one team starts at one end and the other starts at the other end. And it's always really one-sided. Like there's never there's never like a close fought kind of thing on it, and it's pretty. So and that's really the only map that isn't like nicely balanced. But yeah, tanks are pretty intense. But it's cool. It's a good game. My money would be on that one as like my choice of shooter for the year.
Yeah. Have you played any of the other ones?
Not quite yet.
Yeah. Because I have been doing a bit of reading up about the other two, and being Titanfall 2.
Yeah.
And
Modern Warfare.
Oh, Infinite Warfare.
Infinite Warfare. Yeah.
But yeah, they all sound like pretty good choices. So. Yeah.
I guess it depends on what you're going for, eh? And
yeah.
But yeah, it's all good. What else have you been playing?
Gwent.
Oh yes. Yeah.
Got into the Gwent beta, so that was pretty cool.
Cool.
Haven't managed to play it too much. Everything else going on, but had a good couple of games and just sort of
nice.
Learning sort of like the new mechanics, because it is a similar but different to how it is in The Witcher 3.
It kind of have to be, right, to be its like fully fledged standalone game.
Yeah, pretty much. Plus, I think with not too sure how it would properly work if it was still the same rules, but just a couple of sort of like niggly things. I think it's not too balanced at the moment. I did have someone tell me, before I started, Monsters deck is overpowered.
Oh yeah.
So get in and like probably about 3/4 of the opponents would just play Monsters cards. Would just own me.
That's a bit stinky. But then I guess that's the whole idea behind an open beta, is that like, hey, come and play the game. Tell us what's wrong. Yeah.
Well, they'll be doing things like looking at all the matchups and saying, this monster's winning too much against everything else.
Yeah.
Nerf it. So. Yeah.
Cool, but it played pretty well. Like, what were the sort of main differences mechanic wise?
Main ones. So you've still got like, and the main one you've got the weather cards and that sort of thing. So they function sort of the same way, except some cards were immune to it. Like you got your hero cards basically, which it won't affect them, and so you got the same thing. But in this one, some cards like the Wild Hunt sort of faction, cards in the monsters deck, they'll be boosted by like the Frost card, for example. The other thing is there are sort of effects like you got the Commander's Horn, which like doubles everyone's value on that row that you play it on, and that's sort of like. In The Witcher 3, you play that in the row, and it's sort of a constant effect.
Yeah.
In this one, it's not a constant effect. So instead of having your cards there and then sort of calculating all their values, each card sort of calculates it separately. So when you play the Commander's Horn, it increases the value of all the cards, and then it disappears.
I
see what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
So
So just getting used to the slightly different ways that those cards play.
Yeah, and then some cards will be able to attack your opponent's cards, and then lower their value point at a time, and then if it goes below 0, then that card goes to the graveyard. Sort of thing.
Interesting. Do you think it has legs? Do you think it's the kind of thing where people could probably pick it up and play a lot?
Yeah. I mean, I think it is a bit more complicated than how it was in The Witcher 3. I think I reckon so. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, definitely do want to play it a bit more than I have at the moment. Because I haven't really managed to. Yeah, just because everyone's playing monsters, I was playing the Skellige faction.
Yeah.
So I haven't had actually too many wins.
It'd be pretty frustrating. Yeah, big time.
Yeah, and then just sort of figuring out, how often are the rewards to get like a new pack.
Yeah.
And how easy is it to sort of get a decent deck together?
Yeah. Because that'd be the other side of things is the process. Obviously, in The Witcher 3, you would go out and you'd actually collect the cards in the world.
Yeah.
Like, is it just kind of a win? Like, as you win against other opponents and things, will you pick up more cards and that kind of thing?
I think it might be. So you got sort of a playing level, And so I think you got to win a certain amount of games to like go up to the next level. And I assume I haven't reached the end of the first level yet, but it's so embarrassing. But I assume you get like it's called a barrel, which you take to the troll storekeeper guy, and he like cracks it open and gives you some new cards.
Oh, nice.
So I assume you get that after each like level or something, but you also get scraps. So I think, like after playing a game, I think if you win, you get like 15 scraps or something.
Yeah.
If you lose, you don't get any, but you can send the other player a good game. So like if they didn't like rage quit or just for being a good player sort of thing. And so then they get like 5 extra scraps. So I think you can use those to like craft cards maybe. Yeah. And then you get the option to like turn your extra cards into scraps or something. So I think there's some sort of like card crafting element to it.
It sounds fun. It sounds I mean, I was never huge on Gwent when I played The Witcher, but I can see that it was one of those games that people would really kind of pick up and take away, and it's pretty awesome that they've even the fact that they've decided to do it, like build a standalone game. So
no, definitely. I mean, main thing I would be looking forward to is because I think they're doing like a sort of a story mode to it, like a sort of a campaign. So I'll be real keen to play that. When it comes out. Cool. Yeah, see how it goes. But.
Awesome. Yeah, well, I mean, aside from playing Battlefield, I've played a little bit of Morrowind as well, like a very small little bit
of Morrowind.
Yeah. Oh, man. To the point where essentially I rage quit because he told me to go and find a Dwemer puzzle box, and I went to find it and just fucking spent like ages walking around and couldn't find this little fucking thing. It's
I vaguely remember that.
And it's like, and then I spoke to some people who knew about it, and it was like, oh, it's just on the shelf in this like one spot, and it's I don't know, it's a cool game, but you've got to sort of step back from your expectations around how games are made now, because you know, if let's say for example there was a quest like that in a new Elder Scrolls game, you would go to that dungeon and the whole dungeon would be based around funneling you down to the end of it, and that's where the thing would be.
Whereas, and it might have like a way marker on it.
Exactly. And you'd know exactly where to go. Whereas this is like, go to this place and then just find it. It'd be like if you were coming, if I was like, hey Mike, can you go to the office and pick up this thing, and didn't tell you where it was, you'd literally have to walk around in circles to try and literally find it. It's the same kind of thing. And I guess they hadn't got to the point where they were thinking, oh, we'll build this quest and then we'll build a dungeon that actually leads the player towards it. So things like that. But yeah, I only dabbled in that a little bit. So yeah, let's crack into some news, because there's a few things that have kind of come along. Not heaps, but we'll touch on a few things just to kind of keep people up to date. Biggest thing probably is the PS4 Pro was released. Mixed reviews from what I've heard.
All right.
It seems that one of the big things at the moment coming out of people who have got them, and even like Digital Foundry, the guys that do kind of benchmarking and things for hardware, is that the PS4 in many cases is actually outperforming the PS4 Pro in terms of like frame rate and that kind of thing, because unless you have like a 4K TV that's actually kind of taking advantage of it. And in a lot of cases, what it's doing is it goes, let's say you're playing just Skyrim, it'll render it and then it'll upscale it. And then because you're playing on a 1080p TV, it actually has to kind of pull it back a little bit again. So it's doing like more processing that it actually needs to do to like render the game on just a regular TV.
Yeah. So basically it's like rendering it at like a lower resolution, but then upscaling it to a higher one.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's doing more to pull it back.
Yeah. Well, in my rough idea of how it's working,
sounds a bit sort of convoluted,
which is a little bit hilarious, And so people are kind of like, and it sort of harkens back to my original thoughts with it, is like, what's the point? Like, what are they going for with the PS4 Pro? Like, it's just, I couldn't quite figure out what the niche was going to be, especially when obviously it's clear that developers have to get used to it. Like, it's not necessarily just like having the PS4 Slim where it's just the same thing in a smaller scale. They actually have to figure out like, okay, cool, we've got this, like, how are we going to take advantage of this this new platform.
Interesting.
I don't know too much about the sales and how sales are going, but yeah, mixed opinions, and a little bit underperforming, which is kind of
interesting,
funny to hear
but
about.
So it sounds like it'd just be you need a 4K TV essentially to.
I think that's the only way you're really going to justify it, because I mean, that's the whole idea behind it, is that I think there are some games, like I think Rise of the Tomb Raider, what they've done, which is quite clever, is they've given a couple of options for how the extra grunt can be used. So they have like a high visuals mode where it just like makes the game look a bit prettier, and they have like more textures and all that kind of stuff. They've got a high frame rate mode, and then I think they have like a 4K mode. So if you have a TV, like a non-4K TV, you can still kind of get some benefit out of it. But that, which is awesome,
so but it's sort of like pick your preference of like how do you want it to work.
Which is pretty cool. But it's all something that the developers have to build in there. So I mean, it could be really cool, and it could come out well, assuming that the uptake is there from those people who are actually building games on it. But yeah, PS4 Pro is kind of there.
I'm still thinking I might get one. Maybe early next year. After I come back from a trip.
Nice. What's your rationale behind it? Like, what are you hoping to get out of?
Mainly, because I do have a 4K TV.
Nice. Yeah.
And so it'd be good to make full use of that.
Right.
And I think it's got a big hard drive, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah. I think it's
basically the main draw for me. So
bigger hard drive. Nice.
So I don't have to like delete everything, every time I want to.
Yeah, I found that kind of frustrating as well. Like it's just not big enough. But there you go. That makes sense if you've got a 4K DV then, because I couldn't.
But I'll come back and I'll see what the consensus is.
The feelings out. Yeah, totally. What else have we got? Another one that came across my radar. Did you ever play much Diablo? Was Diablo a big thing for you?
No. I think it could have been, but it just sort of missed me completely.
Totally. I mean, I originally played Diablo 1 a little bit, but it was when I played it, it was full of hackers and people would just like type in a cheat and get all the best shit, and it was dumb.
It was sort of like a co-op, was it?
Yeah. So you could play it online, you could play it single player. Essentially, Diablo 1, it's top down, it's classic point and click, and you basically just run about in a kind of isometric plane. Diablo 1 was essentially like you were in a town called Tristram, and there was a church, and underneath the church there was some catacombs, and there was like 50 levels or something, and then at the very bottom was Diablo. You were in hell, and you had to kill Diablo, and that was kind of it. And you'd collect a bunch of loot and things along the way. It's really just loot. Like, it's really addictive because you kill a boss or something and you get like loot. Diablo 2 was a bit bigger. It was kind of like, rather than just having levels, it was I guess like more of a campaign where you would travel across the land and you'd get to different things. And then obviously Diablo 3 is quite similar to Diablo 2 in its mechanics and things. But the news about it is that, from what I hear, they've basically remade Diablo 1 within Diablo 3.
Oh, fair right.
So I'm assuming it's going to be like some DLC or something along those lines.
Is that like the developers did it, or is it like a fan made?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, I really just kind of read the headline and was like, let's mention that. Huh. So I have to do a bit some research into it. But yeah, if you're a Diablo fan out there, then keep your eye out for that. What about Mass Effect, man? Are you a Mass Effect fan?
I did try to play the first one. I sort of got overwhelmed with it a bit because there's a point where you come to the big space station that I can't remember what it's called. It's just like kind of massive. I think the main thing from me was like didn't really play it enough to get into it. And sort of get used to like how the combat worked. It was all of that seemed a bit weird for me. Didn't really fully understand it. And then just you get so you don't really get a chance to understand it, and then you get put on this like giant space station. You wander around and talking to loads of people, and like I kind of wanted to explore everything, but
it was all a bit much.
It was all a bit much.
Yeah. The reason I mention that is we had what people are calling N7 Day.
Yeah.
And they dropped the new trailer for Mass Effect Andromeda that's coming out. I'm not sure if I'm fully sold on it. Like it's a cool trailer. It doesn't give a whole lot away, but it's definitely been something. I mean, to be honest, it's been a pretty slow news week, so it's like I'll add that in there as well. We'll mention that. So if you're a Mass Effect fan and you somehow haven't heard of this, then definitely check it out. It's a new trailer. It'll probably be the kind of thing where I'll wait. I'll probably give it maybe a week or two before I rush out and buy it, just to kind of get an idea of whether it's going to be.
Do they give a release date?
Don't know. Don't know. We'll
Just
find out.
trailer.
But the trailer was kind of a bit. Like I said, it didn't give a whole lot away about what's actually happening. Not a specific release date by the looks of things, but generally speaking, in March next year.
All right, that's still,
which is still
not too far away.
Which is cool. And the only other thing that I have on my list of news is the little NES Mini console thing.
Oh yeah,
that they released. Yeah, and apparently it sold like hotcakes. Like basically they sold out everywhere. There was limited stock across all the retailers and things, and people just lost their shit for them. And they're now going on Amazon for like hundreds and hundreds of dollars, which is for a
supply and demand.
Yeah, for a tiny little console that's like I think in America they're selling for like $60.
Yeah.
So in New Zealand they might be 120 or something, which is still a fair chunk of change for this little
tiny.
But I remember when they mentioned that they were coming out, I was kind of like, oh shit, that could be quite cool. But they're all like, I mean, in reality, those games are all like 20 years old, 25 years old.
They're going to be hard to play.
Yeah. I think
if you're struggling with Morrowind,
Oh, I'm not struggling. But it's just amazing, like that nostalgia factor that people can get out of this sort of thing. Because the reality is that the games aren't gonna be amazing, and it's really just to say you've got one. I'm sure someone like Balthazar, he would fucking love that kind of thing. But I just thought it was interesting, and apparently Nintendo are having to do like another production run of this little thing. And I think last I heard there were a couple on Trade Me, and they were going for like $300 or $400.
Oh wow!
Which is it's a good old supply and demand.
Should have gone in on that.
Yeah, totally. Bought like 4 or 5 of them.
Probably can't tell. Man, I hope they do a PlayStation version.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
PS1.
Yeah. Fuck yeah, that'd be
just
great.
plug and play, got all the classics on there.
And I think I think Sega did one as well.
Yeah.
They did a little mini Sega Genesis. PlayStation would be amazing if they came out with a classic PlayStation.
I don't think they will though.
No, totally.
Not Sony.
So that's kind of it for really. We'll sort of race through that. So last on my list, but not least, obviously Balthazar has been in Japan. Japan, the crazy world of the quirky and sometimes weird and wonderful. So we're going to play a little game, Mike. We're going to play a little game. I've got 5, I guess, scenarios for you. I'm going to read them out, and basically I want you to tell me whether you think they are true or not. So it's essentially true or false.
They're all true, aren't they?
You might be onto something here. True or false as to whether or not you think these things exist within Japan.
Well, I hope KFC is in
I
already know the answer.
I should have,
I know the question, I know the answer.
All things lead to KFC. So the game is titled Japan or Not. Alright, so here we go. Number 1, Mike Landon. In Japan, you can buy extendable poles with a rest on the top for resting your head while you're standing up on the subway. So essentially, you can sleep on the subway standing up. True or false?
I believe I've seen this kind of thing before. I'm going to say true.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
I think there was even one which is, it's like a proper harness thing that you like slam into the
Really?
ground. Yeah. And so it like fully supports you, like not knowing just like a chin rest, but.
Oh, really? Like a full body support? I've only seen the chin one.
Yeah, sort of, yeah. Vaguely remember, I could be making it up, but pretty sure that's the thing as well.
It absolutely is true. In Japan, there's a range of products you can buy that basically mean that you can sleep standing up on the subway, which is great. And it kind of harkens into, like, I do know as well in Japanese culture, falling asleep at the office and sleeping at your desk is like encouraged.
Yeah. Well, it's seen as a good thing because you're working so hard. You fell asleep at your desk. Like, well done.
Yeah, good job. Yeah. I don't know about you, man, but I'd just take the piss, eh? I'd like, I'd just like stay up late, get to work, and just have a nap. Like, all good. Yeah. Look how hard I'm working.
I think it was Japan. Like, if you're actually a bad worker, they won't fire you. They'll just give you like the most menial. They'll put you in a room with like basically nothing to do. So you basically like.
You just get.
I think you get a computer and like maybe the internet, but you're forced to sit there like
just do nothing.
Yeah. Even with the internet, there's like only so much you can do, and so it's like either you're going to go back to like doing your job properly, or you're going to leave yourself. So it's very
amazing.
But
yeah. All right, cool. Number 2, in Japan, there are men. This is kind of going on the subway theme. There are men whose job it is to work at the subway, and their job is basically to push people onto the subway cars and force them into the crammed in like sardines. Japan or not?
Japan.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. I've seen that one as well. They've got these white gloves and they sort of squish people.
I couldn't believe this when I heard about it, eh? Because my girlfriend and I went to London recently, and we were talking about how busy the subway was there, and then we met up with a friend of mine, George, who was like, man, it is nothing compared to Tokyo, and he told me about these men with white gloves, and their job is to, people line up there and they get in as far as they can, and the guys just kind of push them in, which is mind-boggling. I would find that so uncomfortable, eh? But,
it would be too great.
No.
Yeah, I think the train system, from what I've heard, is pretty amazing. Anyway, again, I'm pretty sure it's Japan. But they like have markings on the ground where like the doors are going to be when the train stops.
Oh yeah,
And like that's just way beyond any New Zealand technology. It's the future.
Yeah. Let's not even make a comparison there. Yeah. All right, number 3. In Japanese schools, they don't have cleaners. They make the students do all of their own cleaning work. Japan or not?
I think this is Japan as well.
Yeah, it is. Could you imagine if they tried to do that in New Zealand?
Yeah.
Like,
it'd be riots.
Oh, it'd be the worst. Like, I almost think that the parents wouldn't be down on that.
I think that would be a good thing, to be honest.
I totally agree.
Because, I mean, if you're going to make a mess, then you're going to have to stay there and clean up as well. So it sort of gives them some personal responsibility.
Yeah, absolutely. I've worked in schools. I was a teacher for a few years, and it absolutely would instill a different level of respect for property, that kind of thing. I think it'd be great. Yeah, not just like, oh, you tagged that wall, so you have to clean it up, but like genuinely, let's take half an hour every day, and you guys. It's such a good thing to have, just like respecting your environment, and other people have to use it. Keep it tidy. There you go.
Yeah,
New Zealand education. Take a few tips from Japan. All right, number 4. Japan or not, a single melon can cost up to $300 in Japan.
I think we've had a lot of Japans. I'm going to say not.
It's Japan.
$300.
Yeah, for whatever reason, melons, like rock melons or watermelons or whatever, in Japan, excessively expensive.
Wow.
I don't know why. I should have done some research so that I had a bit of a tidbit of trivia to kind of give you, but There you go.
Maybe there's some like melon racketeering, sort of, you know,
Yeah.
price fixing.
Yeah, huge trade markups on melons. But there you go. And number 5, Japan has a theme park solely based on the Power Rangers. Japan or not.
This has got to be Japan.
Yeah, it's Japan. So all 5 of these have been Japan. I don't know too much about it, but I heard from Balthazar the other day, and he was like, "Oh, I'm really disappointed." Hannah's.
Did he go there?
Hannah's. Well, this is the thing. They were going to go there, but Hannah was ill, and so they couldn't. So he was like going on about it. He was super gutted that he didn't get to go to this theme park that's solely for the Power Rangers. And I'm gutted that I'm not going to get to hear about it because that sounds incredible. Wow. But there you go, Japan or not. All 5 of those little tidbits, absolutely for Japan. Absolutely from Japan.
I got one for you because going back to the KFC. In Japan on Christmas, people line around the block to get into a KFC on Christmas Day.
Why?
I don't know.
Why Christmas Day? Did they must have some kind of thing like promotion or something going on?
I don't know. Apparently, it's just sort of
just a thing that you do.
Yeah, maybe because it's like the whole Christmas thing that might be a bit Western and KFC's that Western sort of food chain. But yeah, people just love their KFC Christmas lunch.
KFC Christmas lunch, amazing.
Yeah,
I'd love to get down on that. If I'm ever in Japan over Christmas, I'm all about that.
You have to wait in line.
We're gonna get there. Yeah, that's all good. I'm willing to kind of like wait in line to be part of that culture. So that's Japan or not, and I'm looking forward to hearing all the stories from Balthazar as he gets back, and he should be back on the next podcast. We'll be back to full steam next time around. We're going to finish things off with my second of my top 10 games of all time, which is Spyro the Dragon.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic.
Is that the first one?
Yes, the original one.
Yeah. You want to throw in second or third?
I'm gonna. Well, I would. I played the second one a little bit, but my one was the original Spyro the Dragon. It was my original foray into PlayStation 1, kind of like 3D platformers, I guess. Yeah. And I just fucking loved like it was kind of like Banjo-Kazooie would have been around the same time, and it was just Spyro and his little like dragonfly friend kind of thing. And I remember like taking sick days off school, and on the old memory cards you could get like, there were 3 slots in one kind of memory card slot for Spyro. And I remember like going, I'm going to 100% this game. And I got to the point where I'd played through the game fully 3 times. And so I had 100% on all 3 of the slots kind of thing. But I just, like, my main memory of Spyro the Dragon was like, just the mechanics. Probably, if I played it now, it'd probably be clunky as fuck. Yeah. But like just the freedom you had and how kind of like powerful you could be with just the basic mechanics of like a flame and a charge, and the way that they kind of worked in those 3 things, and his little, obviously his his glide thing that you could have, and just being like totally enamored with this game. And I don't think it was anything special as far as like plot or anything. Like, I'm pretty sure it was like, from memory, there were like the dragons.
So hadn't they turned into stone or something?
Yeah, they did. There was
and then you got to walk up to them and they.
Yeah, there was like, what was the bad guy's name? Like Narc, or hang on, let me Google it quickly. Yeah. Nasty Nork was his name, and I think at the beginning of it, like there was like a television interview or something with a couple of the dragons, and they were like, "Oh no, we're not worried about Nasty Nork because he's not going to be a threat to us." And then it cuts to Nasty Nork, and he's like watching them on TV, and he's like, and he rages out. And so he casts a spell, and he traps them all in stone or in crystal or something. And for whatever reason, Spyro didn't get trapped, and then he goes like, and that's it. Like, and then he goes on a rampage to try and like release all the dragons, sort of thing. And obviously you collect gems along the way. or something like that, and there's kind of like hub worlds that you work your way through. But I don't know. It was kind of the first thing that had like that I recall playing where it was large, open, kind of like 3D. I want to say worlds. I say that in kind of like air quotes, not really words, but I don't know. I just really enjoyed the game and the mechanics and how like fluid it was.
Awesome.
So yeah, Spyro.
For me, it was one like I really wanted to get Spyro for ages, and I remember like trying to save up money. It was like $60 or $80 or something.
Yeah.
When it came out, and I was just like managed to save about $5 or something towards it.
Yeah.
Don't think I ever really managed to play the first one, but the second one, I did play. Yeah, I think I got 100% on that twice because so I think if you got 100%, then you could play through it again with like a much more powerful like flame.
Oh yes, you could keep because there was that like big like
instead of like a flame, it was like a powerful blast.
Yeah.
It was like a sort of power up.
Yeah. Sort
of thing you could use. So then like played through it again with the blast and just
smashed
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the other thing I remember is like with the Firefly thing, when you were looking for all the gems, because you had to collect all of them to get 100%, I think, and you just like hold down all the shoulder buttons, and then the Firefly would like point to the nearest gem in the level.
Oh yeah. You could just
not sure if that was like cheating or not, but
if it's in the game,
it's in the game.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
No, so there you go.
Fun,
yeah, Spyro the Dragon. If you missed out on that, you really missed out because it was a good wee series.
I think you can still get it on PlayStation if you got like a PlayStation 3 or
really?
PS Vita. I'm pretty sure it's in the store. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Well, check it out. There you go. That is pretty much us for the Overcast Gamer Show for this week. Thank you very much for tuning in. Be sure to check out overcastgamer.com for a bunch of stuff if you like reading things. We will be back in a couple of weeks with the full crew back. We'll have Abe back, we'll have Balthazar back. And we will chat more gaming. Thank you very much for being here, Mike.
No,
for the Mike and Reagan special. And have a good week, everyone.
Cool. Cheers.
Have a good one.